the station that's on your side. News 12, first at 5, continues.
Next, live at 5, the future of electric vehicles in Georgia is now in the hands of lawmakers.
Plus, one mother is fighting back against fentanyl.
And if you don't already know someone who has been lost to fentanyl, you soon will. It's inevitable.
More on the son she lost to the drug and her push to criminalize fentanyl trafficking. Well, if your commute takes you back and forth between states on I-20, you're no stranger to the constant construction that's been taking place on the bridge. We're all used to it at this point. GDOT says that the project was set to be completed this year, but that work could be extended like most road projects are.
Right, and with Masters Week on the horizon and even a new lane change coming soon, the area could become, well, a disaster for some drivers. News 12's Hallie Turner is live at 5 with a look at the progress and what still needs to be done.
Well, from clay to gravel to beam to cement and concrete, I-20 has come a long way. We're going to pan this way in the last year, but they still have a long way to go. Due to COVID and supply chain issues, they are behind schedule from their original completion date in 2023. The project costs around $80 million, and so far the final product is projected to make the bridge safe and be good for use for the next 75 years. GDOT says they're getting close to some huge milestones as we approach the Masters Tournament in just a few weeks.
Now, the new push, hoping to get implemented prior to Masters Week, is finalizing what will be final alignment on the westbound side. So currently, westbound travelers, you top the hill, you're coming into the state, you're really driving on what the new middle of the project is. We shift you to the median. That's so we could finish the westbound roadway and bridges. So hopefully by the end of March, we will have you shifted to the right as you see it now, coming westbound onto new pavement, new bridges.
And coming up all new tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we're going to pinpoint those timelines for those lane changes so that we can get you the exact timeline. So we hear from those and get an inside look on what it's like to travel these roadways every day.
Okay, thanks for that, Hallie. Earlier this year, DHEC released its annual drug overdose death statistical report for the state. That report shows data and information about the fatal drug overdose deaths in South Carolina from 2020 to 2021. Numbers show the total number of overdose deaths in South Carolina were 2,168. That's a 25% increase from the previous year, which boils down to 430 families that lost a loved one. Crystal Kraft was one of those family members that lost her son to fentanyl. When Clifton was 24, he passed away after taking meth that was laced with fentanyl. He became addicted to opioids after getting his wisdom teeth removed. Now Crystal has been fighting to prevent these numbers from rising even more, and she's worked to save other families from the pain of losing a loved one.
Without these laws, without people standing up to these dealers and these senators and these representatives saying, we've had enough. We're tired of you killing our people, our kids, our loved ones. It's going to keep happening.
And there are several fentanyl-related bills moving through the South Carolina State House right now. Coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we're looking to see how close those bills are to becoming law.
A woman is facing charges after Greenville police say she had an illegal abortion. Officers say she was taken to a local hospital after having labor contractions. She told doctors she took a pill to abort the fetus and delivered a 25-week-old stillborn baby. South Carolina law bans self-medication to abort a pregnancy. The woman is charged with performing an unlawful abortion. She is the 5th person accused of the crime since 2000. In less than an hour, Aiken County School District leaders are meeting for the new Highland Springs rezoning project. It's to decide which students will go to that new middle school. Last month, the county held 2 public meetings to break down the zoning options for parents. Tonight at 6 o'clock, they'll meet to decide which zone will be used. If you cannot make it to the meeting, it will be live streamed on the school district's website.
Augusta Parks and Recreation will now have more money to help fund security at certain events. Commissioners voted 9-1 this afternoon to add $20,000 to the Parks and Rec budget. It would help support Band of Brothers' annual Juneteenth celebrations. $3,500 will help cover a security fee at the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade in downtown Augusta.
Under the Gold Dome, lawmakers are looking at the future of electric vehicles in the state.
House Bill 406 passed unanimously last week. Under the bill, a network of federally funded charging stations could be built along Georgia's highways. Convenience stores will also be able to own and operate stations.
If passed in the Senate, it would go into effect in 2025. As Abby Kasoris explains, lawmakers need to work out taxes and how owners will pay to offset the cost.
Today marks Electric Vehicle Education Day here at the Capitol, where EV leaders met with state lawmakers to discuss laws that can make changes in our state. There are an estimated 42,000 electric vehicles registered in Georgia, but only 1,600 public EV charging stations. New proposed legislation would add additional instructions for the taxation of public charging stations at gas stations throughout the state. $135 million in federal funding was already allocated to help cover the costs.
Laying the foundation to further support that reliability, that there will be charging infrastructure along our major corridors.
Ann Blair with the Electrification Commission says the number of charging stations drop off outside of the metro areas. Georgia ranks 6th in the nation for public EV charging stations. It would also require that EV owners will pay for their electricity by kilowatts per hour rather than time spent at a charging station, and an excise tax for EV owners, which would offset the loss of revenue from the gasoline tax.
For those who don't have access to charging at home, well, that is, again, an additional tax for them.
Selling vehicle in America, and it's going to be the game changer.
With new models of electric vehicles being released each year, like this F-150, James Barlow with the Southface Institute says the state has all the ingredients to be a nationwide leader.
We can make those devices, make those vehicles, make those batteries, reprocess those batteries. If we can do that, we keep the money in the state. So we create a truly circular economy where we're actually making these things, where we see the benefits of those jobs, we see the benefit of that investment, we see the taxes and the tax digest. So this is really beneficial for the state of Georgia.
The bill passed its first test. Now it heads to the Senate for a second vote. If it passes there, those changes wouldn't take effect until 2025. In Atlanta, I'm Abby Kasoris.
Thanks, Abby. We can't believe it's almost here, but Tournament Week is less than a month away, and many people are making travel plans. Augusta Regional Airport says they are adding new destinations to make it easier for patrons and locals who are traveling. On top of their regular flights to Charlotte, D.C., Dallas, and Atlanta, they're providing trips to Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, Boston, Austin, Miami, and Detroit. Leaders say they add new destinations for Tournament Week every year based on demand, and they anticipate another successful year with new destinations.
Actually provide those flights based on the booking numbers. So if they have strong numbers of those cities, they'll provide that direct flight that week. We still see double, triple the number we do a normal week out that week. So we anticipate the same numbers this year.
Smith says one Masters Week destination they see strong numbers for is New York, and last week airport leaders met with airlines there to discuss the possibility of adding it full time. She says there is no specific plan for that right now, but they're hopeful an airline will select Augusta for a permanent route in the future.
It is good news for Chick-fil-A fans in North Augusta.
Yes,
The
it is.
franchise recently announced, I guess Will likes it, a new location off Exit 5 at the intersection of Walnut Lane and Edgefield Road. The owner says commercial and residential growth near Exit 5 is a big reason they want to open another location in that area. And customers nearby, they are excited to have a more convenient option.
Just spoke with several that are in the drive-through line right now that have said, we can't wait till you come to Exit 5 because that's where we live. And then, of course, we've got Edgefield County, just a lot of people that may not get to experience Chick-fil-A as often as they want to. So we're excited to bring it a little closer to them.
There's no definite timeline on when it will be open, but they are aiming for early 2024. And Dawkins says after 20 years of having one location in town, it is a pleasure to be able to serve even more customers. Next live at 5, we are getting ready for the Georgia Bulldogs to take on the Georgia Southern Eagles. Plus, our first alert forecast will be live from the Diamond coming up, and our Dan Booth will have the sports breakdown.
Time and temp.
We'll have more later on after this quick break. You're watching News 12 on your side.
If you think you're
No one moves faster or works harder to get you the most money possible.
get the strong arm.
A man is charged after police say he stabbed a flight attendant in the neck with a spoon and tried to open the plane's emergency door mid-flight. This happened during a United Airlines flight from Los Angeles to Boston. A passenger recorded this video of a man threatening to kill people Sunday. Authorities say he is Francisco Severo Torres. That's when they say he attacked the attendant, tried to open the plane's emergency door. He was zip-tied on the flight and arrested after it landed. Investigators say Torres told them he attacked the flight attendant because he believed they were trying to kill him. Acting duo Chris Evans and Ana de Armas are teaming up once again. They are set to star in the new Apple TV Plus movie called Ghosted. Apple TV released a trailer for Ghosted on Monday. Evans' character meets de Armas for a date and thinks he's found his soulmate, but when she doesn't answer his texts, he is determined not to let her being ghosted turn him away. The movie starts streaming on April 20th. The latest
Got faster. From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Lawmakers hope to slow down the use of fentanyl and increase consequences for dealers.
Well, right now there's nothing. Right now there are no consequences.
One mother shares her story after testifying at the State House.
And we have an update tonight on the I-20 bridge project, originally planned to wrap up this year. GDOT says construction is still on schedule, but anyone who commutes over that bridge knows it's dangerous stretch through there with just 2 lanes. Traffic has been a concern for years.
Our Hallie Turner joins us live right near the interstate tonight with an update on the progress.
So three and a half years ago, all you could see behind me was gravel, red clay, and large cranes marking the start to the construction of the I-20 bridge. Some of that is still here, a little bit up further towards the South Carolina state line, but GDOT tells me that they can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's a little further than they expected. And some of those people who travel the road daily say completion can't come soon enough.
Nobody wants to allow you over, and so it just becomes, you know, it's like 4 wide at Daytona. It's not safe.
I-20 is a road thousands travel daily. Some avoid it as much as they can, but for Joby Sullivan and her active family, it's a road they can't avoid.
But multiple times on weekends, many of our tournaments are on the Georgia side of the river, so we're coming to Riverside Park. We're traveling that bridge because it's the most convenient way to get across into Augusta.
With construction the way it is, if something doesn't change soon, she fears for the safety of others.
So with my son in the car, it causes some anxiety, just, you know, wanting to make sure that we're safe, and, you know, it's not necessarily me or what I'm doing that I have to worry about, it's others.
GDOT says COVID and supply chain issues have caused the timeline of completion this year to be pushed back, but a new milestone is on the way.
Currently, westbound travelers, you top the hill, you're coming into the state, you're really driving on what the new middle of the project is. We shift you to the median. That's so we could finish the westbound roadway and bridge. Hopefully by the end of March, we will have you shifted to the right.
Following that change, eastbound traffic will shift to where westbound is currently.
It's all stage construction to get us towards final completion, which is currently resting at the end of 2023.
Now again, the original timeline was set for earlier this year at 2023, but it's now been moved to the very end of this year, and those road changes are expected to be within the next couple of weeks, and if we find out the time, we'll let you know.
Okay, and a lot of people ready to see that project wrap up. Hallie, thank you.
To weather it is a perfect night for college baseball.
Gorgeous weather out there. Riley, tell us what we can expect.
Hey, it's beautiful conditions out here on the Savannah.
Probably thanks to a live update there from SRP Park. To a developing story now out of Washington County. The sheriff's office there and other agencies have been looking for a Baldwin County inmate who escaped yesterday. He's been on the run ever since. William Knight, last seen wearing a white t-shirt, white striped pants. Deputies say he was last spotted near Indian Trail Road and Highway 272. He's 6'3" and weighs about 156 pounds, considered armed and dangerous. If you know where he might be, if you see someone matching his description, call law enforcement. They say just to call 911 with this escapee. In just the last couple of hours, Georgia's Department of Public Health officially awarding the ambulance zones and, more importantly, what they can pay for.
Just into the newsroom, we're learning a Richmond County school bus was involved in a crash today. School officials say no students were hurt. We've reached out to learn more about what exactly happened and where that crash happened. The Aiken County Sheriff's Office says SLED is investigating an officer-involved shooting after a deputy fired his gun during a traffic stop this morning. Authorities say it happened near the intersection of Hallandville Road, near Cemetery Road in Warrenville, just after 10 this morning. We're told the suspect's car was hit. The Sheriff's Office says the driver was eventually arrested without incident and charged with drug possession and failure to stop for blue lights. All new at 6 o'clock, leaders in South Carolina are considering a series of bills that some hope will slow the use of fentanyl in the Palmetto State and increase penalties for dealers selling the drug. According to DHEC, there was an increase of more than 430 deaths related to drug overdoses between 2020 and 2021. News 12's Will Rio talked to a mother who lost her son to fentanyl and is pushing lawmakers to act.
He was always smiling, always upbeat, always trying to make you laugh. It's heartbreaking because I feel like I failed my duty as a mom because I feel like I didn't do as much as I should have.
It's been 3 years since Crystal Craft's son, Clifton, passed away after he was given meth that was laced with fentanyl. His opioid addiction started with his wisdom teeth surgery.
The dentist gave him at least 3 prescriptions to different forms of hydrocodone, and he got addicted.
After several attempts to get help, it was too late.
He didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve to die. He deserved to get help. And this fentanyl has just completely changed the game.
Crystal has shared her son's story in front of lawmakers.
Imagine your friend showing you how to crush, dissolve, and inject these opioids.
Now there are several fentanyl-related bills working their way through the State House. Both the fentanyl trafficking and fentanyl-induced homicide bills are in judiciary committees.
Without these laws, without people standing up to these dealers, the senators and these representatives saying, we've had enough. We're tired of you killing our people, our kids, our loved ones. It's going to keep happening.
And with overdose numbers on the rise, she says everyone will feel the impact.
There's nothing you can do. And if you don't already know someone who has been lost to fentanyl, you soon will. It's inevitable.
In Aiken County, Will Rio on your side.
Breaking news just into our newsroom. Investigators in Aiken are on the scene of a death on Woodbine Road. Details pretty limited right now.
We do have a crew on the way there to Aiken. We're going to continue to update you from that situation as we learn more from the scene. Also tonight, the charter that would allow Mayor Garnett Johnson more voting.
Power Systems Incorporated, locally owned and serving the CSRA since 1986.
Rain is never good for a wedding. Until now. If it rains 1 inch or more on your wedding day, Floyd & Grieve Fine Jewelers will give you your rings for free. So pray for rain and watch News 12 and NBC 26 this weekend for the weather happening near you. It's the rooms to go.
So much to explore out there. You say it's one of your favorite spots around here.
It's a great spot for kids too, and they have lots of kids programming and hikes, so check it out.
Perfect. Good time of year for it. Meade says the classes will happen there in the Finney Center, but they're also going to take some field trips all around the area. If you're interested, we're going to put a link on our website so you can learn more. You can even sign up.
Coming up, a group of high school students are getting national recognition for an app they designed. Now they're sharing what's next for them and their project.
And we're heading back live to SRP Park. First pitch for UGA, Georgia Southern. In about 15 minutes, our sports director, Dan Booth, is right there on the field, next in sports.
Save on a tankless water heater.
Come in, Mr. Central.
The accident was not my fault.
When you're injured, you need help fast. Call George Sink Injury Lawyers at all nights.
You need someone that's gonna fight for you. Call now.
Call George Sink Injury Lawyers at all nights. We've got you on your side.
Interesting choice of red shirt tonight, Dan. I appreciate that very much.
Yes, thank you, Dan, for the support. Okay, we have a huge update at Plant Vogtle in Waynesboro. Georgia Power says plant operators reached a point where atoms are being split finally, producing steam that spins turbines for electricity. Officials also say the new Unit 3 is continuing to test factors like coolant, steam supply, temperatures, and pressure. Once complete, it will become the first new nuclear reactor in the U.S. built in decades.
It's been a long time coming. 3 Lakeside High School seniors getting national attention after creating an app for smartphones.
Adita Amapathi, Amber Verma, and Joseph Alacara won the 12th district of the Congressional App Challenge. Now they're set to go to Washington in April to present their app to Congress and other tech companies like Apple and Google.
Pretty big stage there. The app that won the award they call Timely, and these high schoolers coded and created it by themselves. The inspiration for all this is to help those who suffer from attention deficit disorders. It encourages building healthy habits.
I know on the app market, there's not a ton of apps that curate to those with mental health disorders, and it was just kind of like a passion project for me and all of us really to create something that would actually help people.
The students say this app color coordinates different tasks. It has timers that will tell you when you can take breaks from studying. They're looking to partner with other apps to keep everything in one place, and they want this app to go farther than just winning an award, but really impressive stuff.
I know that's going to be a big hit in Washington. Good luck to that team.
And we are going to be live out here at SRP Park one more time to take a look at that 7-day forecast for you. Stick around.
Investigate TV.